Good morning. This morning we read Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 1 through to chapter 31 and verse 14. It talks about the restoration of Israel. Now, an important question for anyone reading this is, when is this fulfilled? Was it fulfilled after 70 years of Babylonian captivity? In which case this prophecy is done and dusted. It was something that happened in the past. God fulfilled his word. He took them into captivity and he brought them back from captivity. They returned to their own land. There are a couple of questions. The gloriousness of the return was never quite fulfilled after the exiles returned. The great palaces weren't built. The promise that foreigners would no longer enslave them. Of course, they were always a vassal nation from the time of the return of the exiles until after the Roman Empire scattered Israel again. There was no great leader. Those things that were promised were not fulfilled. So some may say it was partly fulfilled at the return from exile, but not fully fulfilled. And others say it's being fulfilled right now. God is gathering people from around the world and bringing back his people to the ancient land of Israel. If you take that view, that will have a huge political implication on how you live your life. The state of Israel, it will be very hard to criticize the state of Israel. To say that the today's state of Israel are these people would mean that they are doing what God has called them to do. And lots of Christians today interpret passages like this and this one as being relating to the modern state of Israel. And you can see it. It's not hard to see and to associate, because God has called people from all around the world. Israel is increasing in numbers. More people are going there. More people are moving there from around the world, and the Jewish state is building. However, there are some things missing. No leader, no messianic figure. And there is a promise of a messianic figure in this. Their leader will be one of their own. Their ruler will rise from among them. It doesn't sound like a political leader, a temporary prime minister, but a mighty leader, a Messiah. And so there's no Messiah. So some will say it doesn't apply to today. In fact, lots will say that and take that view. It's the view of many Orthodox Jews too, that the modern state of Israel is not fulfilling this prophecy. Others say this is for the end times, when the Lord returns and establishes his rule upon the earth. Part of that will be to give to his people Israel the land which he promised to their forefathers. But how you view this determines a lot about how you act in the political world today. And so consider this passage carefully, read it carefully, and say, is this a prophecy that was fully fulfilled when they returned from Babylon? All of these things. That's how the original readers would have read it. You may say this prophecy is being fulfilled right now in the modern state of Israel. That will determine much about how you vote and how you think and how you act in a political way today. Or you may say this is a promise about the end times. When the Lord returns, then he will be the leader of Israel. He will be revealed as their Messiah and establish his kingdom upon the earth, reigning from Jerusalem. I just leave you to consider those thoughts today. The Lord bless you. Amen.